Hello, Bluey fans!
Ah, Finger! What is it?
What could be more enchanting than meeting someone new? Let's rewind to that special moment when Bluey found herself in the forest, banished from her pretend caravan by the ever-energetic Muffin.
Mine. Have fun! I'm just using it for the game. Give it to me.
While gathering sticks, she suddenly hears a cheerful, "Bonjour!" Startled but curious, she looks up to see a yellow Labrador standing across the stream. He doesn't speak her language, but there's a kindness in his eyes and a stick in his hand. His name? Jean-Luc. It was such a classic Bluey moment. Even though Bluey can't understand Jean-Luc's French words like "Tu veux jouer avec moi?" which is supposed to mean, "Do you want to play with me?" Jean-Luc smiles, offers her the stick, and just like that, they're playing together. No words, no problem. It's pure childhood magic. Just two kids connecting through the simple joy of play. Jean-Luc's French makes the moment feel even more special. His bonjour isn't just a greeting, it's like an invitation into a new and exciting world. It shows how kids don't see language as a barrier. They see it as part of the adventure. And isn't that what Bluey does so well? Showing us that the language of play is universal, no matter where you're from. This little moment lays the groundwork for one of the show's most heartwarming friendships. It's a beautiful reminder that you don't need words to bond. All you need is just an open heart and a bit of imagination. Talking about an adventurous French moment, Bluey and Jean-Luc are determined to catch the wild pig portrayed by Dad. The stakes are high, they need food for the winter. Jean-Luc, ever the strategist, announces in French, "Ceci, c'est notre dernière chance." This is our last chance. His urgency adds this dramatic flair that only French can. Now, Bluey, being Bluey, grabs some water and a rock to sketch out their master plan. It's like watching two little generals preparing for battle, except one speaks fluent French, and the other has no idea what he's saying. But does that stop them? Of course not. Jean-Luc's kept making French exclamations that added a delightful layer to their play. It feels like an international mission, even though it's just two kids trying to tackle Bandit, who hilariously escapes again by splashing them with water. What makes this scene so memorable is how it highlights the beauty of cross-cultural friendships. It's chaotic, it's messy, but it's also so pure. Jean-Luc's French, combined with Bluey's boundless energy, creates a dynamic that's both heartwarming and hilarious. Another moment is where we reach the bittersweet heart of the episode, camping. After days of playing, scheming, and building memories, Jean-Luc drops the bombshell. Non, pas demain matin. No, not tomorrow morning. Bluey doesn't understand, but we do, and our hearts break a little. He follows it with a quiet, "Au revoir, Bluey." Goodbye, Bluey. It's a tender and deeply relatable moment, capturing the innocence of not realizing how temporary some friendships can be. What makes this farewell so emotional is its simplicity. Jean-Luc's French adds a poetic layer, making his departure feel like the closing chapter of a storybook. And when Bluey finds his tent gone the next morning, we feel her loss. But then there's the hope. The tree they planted has sprouted, a symbol of their friendship. Jean-Luc's farewell teaches us that some connections are meant to be cherished, even if they're brief. His French words linger in our hearts, a reminder that language might fade, but memories and feelings stay with us. It's not just goodbye, it's au revoir, until we meet again. And in that, there's magic. When Bluey sets up her cafe, everything seems in order, until Bandit, armed with a frying pan, ladle, and the confidence of a Michelin star chef, decides to join in. "Bonjour," he declares, his mustache drawn on with marker, making him look more lost tourist than culinary expert. Bluey, determined to run her cafe smoothly, tries to dismiss him, saying, "No, Dad, we don't need a chef." But Bandit is unwavering. Bandit stands like a regal French chef, ready to claim the kitchen. He speaks not a word of English, only the melodious flow of French phrases like bonjour and c'est bon, while wielding his ladle like a maestro conducting an orchestra. Bluey, trying to keep control of her cafe, quickly realizes that Bandit's French skills are not only questionable, but also a bit too enthusiastic. As Bluey tries to get him to retrieve the pavlova from the fridge, Bandit serves up a fridge magnet, then a plate of edamame beans, completely misinterpreting her instructions. When Bluey points to the pavlova, Bandit's response is to shout, "Gare du Nord," an iconic French train station. Like that's a logical solution. It's chaotic, but charming. The confusion builds, with Bandit proudly proclaiming, "Je suis le chien," I am the dog, while Bluey has to keep redirecting him. Despite his utter confusion, he insists that he's the head chef, so Bluey reluctantly lets him keep the role, but not without a side of laughs. In a hilarious twist of fate, Bandit's French chef persona takes another misstep when he serves a plate of edamame beans instead of pavlova. When Bluey demands the pavlova for her customer, Bandit's response is an enthusiastic, "Bonjour, pavlova," only to deliver the beans instead. Bluey's face says it all. "This is not pavlova," as she stares at the plate in disbelief. Bandit, not missing a beat, proudly states, "Je suis le chef," as though this mistake was part of a grand culinary scheme. The children are baffled, but Bandit continues his French monologue, asking, "Où est la discothèque?" Where is the disco? Bluey, with a mix of frustration and amusement, clarifies again, No, we want pavlova." Bandit's response is a baffling mix of French words, "C'est bon." That's all right, and he heads back to the fridge with more misplaced confidence than a five-star chef. In the end, he returns with the pavlova, but with one tiny crumb instead of the desired slice. Bluey can't hold back her groan. "It's too small." But Bandit, in his own little French world, responds with, "Où est mon passeport?" Where is my passport? Once again, completely missing the mark. The moment ends with a reminder of just how not helpful Bandit's French really is. The moment Bandit delivers the right pavlova, Bluey's hopes are high. Finally, she'll be able to serve Bingo the dessert she's been dreaming about all day. But Bandit, in his over-the-top French role, cannot let things end that simply. After Bluey approves the slice of pavlova, Bandit, with the seriousness of a five-star chef, grabs a bottle of tomato sauce and, with a devilish grin, squirts it all over the pavlova. Bluey and Bingo are left speechless. "What are you doing?" they shout in unison, horrified at the thought of ruining such a delicate dessert. But Bandit, unfazed by the outrage, nonchalantly explains, "Je veux la fenêtre!" I want the window. It's a French mystery that no one can understand. The tomato sauce on pavlova is beyond bizarre, an absolute crime in Bluey's world. But to Bandit, it seems perfectly logical, like it's an essential part of his culinary creativity. Bluey, at this point, is so done with Bandit's antics. "You don't put tomato sauce on pavlova," she exclaims, knowing full well that her cafe is falling apart, one French misunderstanding at a time. The chaos that ensues is chef's kiss, pure comedy gold as Bandit continues to weave his charming French nonsense around the kids' bewilderment. As Bandit's French chaos continues, the game takes a turn. Bluey, in an act of defiance against Bandit's culinary incompetence, decides to set up a rival cafe. Armed with her skills and an understanding of what her customers want, Bluey begins preparing her version of the perfect pavlova, complete with fruit and sprinkles. Meanwhile, Bandit, never one to back down, opens his own competing cafe right next to hers. His choice? Edamame beans. He's now not only a French chef, but also a master of convincing Bingo that edamame is a much better choice than pavlova. There's an element of competition now, as Bluey decorates her pavlova, and Bandit shells the edamame with Bingo's help. Bandit even takes the extra step of showing Bingo how to shoot edamame beans out of their pods. He's transformed this into an entirely new experience, one that's a far cry from Bluey's sweet pavlova dream. Still, despite all the fun Bandit's cafe brings, Bingo's heart is with the pavlova, and she returns to Bluey's cafe to claim her prize. Bandit, gracious in defeat, offers Bluey a handshake, signaling the end of this hilarious French culinary rivalry. The kids learn a valuable lesson in teamwork and creativity. That's a wrap for some top French moments in Bluey. Which of these French moments is your favorite?
Je vous la fenêtre.
Let's hear it in the comment. Ensure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more Bluey videos.
She's not here. I looked everywhere.